I was sent to end his life. But that night, I saw something in his eyes that made me hesitate. Maybe that's when I signed my own death warrant. Before the story begins, don't forget to subscribe to Mafia Hidden Dairy, where secrets bleed and loyalty burns. Caleb, you still good with quiet kills? Marcus's voice came through the encrypted line like smoke. I'm good with anything that pays, I said, lighting a cigarette I didn't want. He laughed. Perfect. One target. Name's Adrian Vale, South Coast. Retired syndicate boss turned informant. You take him out, you disappear clean. No traces, no debts, I frowned. Informant? For who? Doesn't matter. He's a traitor. Government wants him gone, off the books. Government. I'd heard that word too many times from too many liars. What's the fee? Enough to buy silence. He paused. You still owe me, Caleb. This clears it. I hated when he said that. Like he owned my past. Like he knew what I'd done to survive. Send the file, I muttered. 2 days later, I stood outside Vale's estate, a fortress carved into the cliffs of Dorset. Marble walls, mirrored glass, cameras blinking like eyes. Not a mansion, more a confession disguised as wealth. Inside, everything smelled of polish and secrets. A tall man in a tailored suit met me at the door. Mr. Drayton? Security consultant, I said smoothly. Hired by Mr. Vale. He scanned me up and down. I'm Dante, head of operations. Vale's expecting you. Good, I replied. I like punctual clients. The corridor stretched long and empty, sunlight slicing through glass. When the door to the study opened, Adrian Vale was already there, leaning against his desk, sleeves rolled up, eyes sharper than I imagined. You're early, he said. His accent was precise, refined, controlled. I like to understand a place before I protect it, I answered. He smiled faintly. Smart, most men come here with noise. You came with silence. I didn't know how to respond, so I stayed quiet. He poured 2 drinks, handed me one. I was told you're ex-military. Something like that. What happened? I met his gaze. Wrong orders. Wrong people. Wrong ending. He nodded as if he knew. We've all had those. I studied him carefully. The man I was sent to kill didn't look like a criminal. His office walls weren't lined with gold or weapons, just old books, maps, and one single photograph, a younger man beside a woman and a boy. Before I could look closer, he spoke again. Do you believe in loyalty, Mr. Drayton? Depends who's asking, he chuckled. Good answer. Later, when I met Alara Vale, she didn't shake my hand. She just looked at me, hard, searching. You're not like his other guards, she said. Meaning? You don't flinch when people lie. That's rare, I smiled faintly. Maybe I'm used to it, her eyes softened. You look like someone who's already lost too much. That hit deeper than I wanted. We all lose something. Some of us lose ourselves, she said quietly, before walking away. For 2 days I studied the house. Mapped exits, cameras, guard patterns. The shot would be easy, a single bullet through the skylight above his study. I could be gone before anyone noticed. But something didn't fit. Vale spent hours staring at an old file on his desk, reading it like scripture. Sometimes he'd whisper names under his breath. One of them sounded too familiar, Nathan, my father's name. That night, curiosity won. At 2 a.m., I slipped into his study. The room was dim, the ocean wind whispering through the open window. I searched the desk drawers, careful not to leave prints, files, photos, letters. Then I saw it. An old, creased photograph under a stack of documents. My breath caught. It was me, younger, standing next to my father in military fatigues, arm around his shoulder. The edges burned slightly as if someone had tried to destroy it. Beneath it, a note in Vale's handwriting. Nathan Drayton, saved my life 2005. I froze. My pulse roared in my ears. How the hell did he have this? Couldn't sleep. His voice cut through the dark. I turned. Vale stood in the doorway, calm as ever, a faint smile on his face. Looking for something? I slipped the photo into my pocket. Habit. I check the perimeter at night. He nodded slowly. And my desk drawers are part of your perimeter? I was making sure nothing's off limits. He stepped closer, the floor creaking under his shoes. Everything's off limits until I say otherwise. I met his gaze. Then maybe you should lock your secrets better. He smiled again, sad, knowing. Secrets keep us alive, Caleb. Until they don't. He turned and walked away, leaving the door open. I stood there for a long time staring at the empty room. The photo felt heavy in my pocket, like a heartbeat that wasn't mine. Marcus's voice echoed in my head. He's a traitor. And him. But traitors don't keep pictures of dead soldiers who saved them. Traitors don't whisper the names of ghosts. I poured myself a drink, hands trembling slightly. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was something worse. Doubt. Outside, the sea slammed against the cliffs, relentless and cold. I looked at the photo again, running my thumb over my father's face. Either he knows me, I whispered, or he's the reason my father never came home. Alara, I said, watching her adjust the curtains. You always move around when someone's quiet. She glanced back. And you always talk when someone's watching. You think I'm watching you? I know you are, she replied softly. You don't blink much. That's a soldier thing, I smiled faintly. You've studied soldiers? My father was one once, she said. Before he became what he is now. What is he now? I asked. She shrugged. A man who trusts no one. You fit right in. Her tone carried suspicion, but also something else. Curiosity. I didn't push further. Later that day, I walked the east corridor of the mansion. Every step echoed like memory. Every portrait on the wall seemed to whisper names I didn't know. Adrian's face appeared in half of them. Younger, cleaner. Before the weight of blood had touched him. In his study, I noticed small things. Folders stacked neatly. A glass half full. A book open to a chapter on covert operations. He'd underlined one line. Loyalty can't exist where fear lives. He wasn't reading history. He was remembering something. That night, he called me in. Drink? He asked, holding 2 glasses. Sure, I said, sitting across from him. He poured slowly. You've been quiet lately, Mr. Drayton. Makes me wonder what kind of ghosts you keep. I don't drink with ghosts, I replied. He chuckled. Then drink with an old sinner. We sat in silence for a moment, the firelight flickering between us. Tell me, he said finally, do you believe men like us can ever change? Depends what you mean by change. Stop running from what we did. Stop pretending we're better than the lies we tell. I looked at him. You talk like a man who regrets something. He sipped his whiskey. Regret isn't the word. Debt is closer. What kind of debt? He hesitated. Then, almost too quietly, a life debt. I once knew a man named Nathan Drayton. The glass in my hand trembled slightly. Nathan Drayton? He nodded. He saved my life a long time ago, back when we were both doing dirty work for clean men. I tried to keep my face still, but the name felt like a knife. You knew my father. He studied me. Your father? Nathan was your... Yes, my voice cracked. He died 20 years ago. Adrian's eyes darkened. I know. I was there the night everything went wrong. I leaned forward. What happened? He looked away. Not tonight, Caleb. Some stories need sober minds. No, I said sharply. You started it. Finish it. He set the glass down. The man who sold us out was one of our own. Who? He didn't answer. Just stared into the fire. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Marcus. I stepped outside before answering. What? You sound tense, he said. Maybe because I'm surrounded by people who could gut me in my sleep. That's your job, Marcus said coolly. To make sure they don't. I need more time. You've had enough. You're stalling. He's not what you said he was. Something's wrong, Alara said, her eyes darting to the window. I followed her gaze. The lights outside the mansion flickered, then went black. Power cut? I asked. She shook her head. No, that was deliberate. Before I could answer, the sound hit. Boots slamming on marble, gunfire splitting the silence. Down! Adrian shouted, dragging me behind the couch as glass shattered. Bullets tore through the walls. Who the hell are they? I yelled over the chaos. Not mine! Adrian barked. They're coming for me. He drew his gun, calm like a man who'd been here before. I fired back through the broken doorway, taking down one masked man. The others kept coming, precise, organized, ruthless. Front entrance is gone. Alara screamed. They've sealed it off. Basement route, Adrian said, reloading. Follow me. We sprinted through the hall, gunfire echoing behind us. My lungs burned. Adrenaline roared in my ears. Why are they after you? I shouted. Adrian didn't look back. Ask your handler. Maybe he knows. The words cut deeper than the noise. We reached the kitchen. Smoke, broken glass, a body on the floor. Alara stumbled, clutching her shoulder. Blood seeped through her sleeve. "You're hit," I said. "It's a graze," she hissed, pressing a towel to it. "Keep moving." I wanted to argue, but we didn't have time. "Through the wine cellar," Adrian said. "There's a tunnel." "Convenient," I muttered. He smirked grimly. I planned for bad company. The tunnel stank of earth and gunpowder. Our footsteps echoed off damp stone. Alara's breathing grew shallow, but she kept pace. "You sure this leads out?" I asked. "It did 20 years ago," Adrian said. Not helping. He turned to me, eyes glinting. "Still think I'm your enemy?" "I think you attract bullets." He laughed, short, bitter. "So did your father." I froze. "You don't get to talk about him now." "Then maybe you should have killed me when you had the chance," he said, walking ahead. We emerged behind the docks, the night air sharp and wet. Smoke rose in the distance, the mansion burning. "Now what?" Alara asked. "We vanish," Adrian said. "Regroup. Find out who sent—" His voice stopped. "What is it?" I followed his stare, and the world tilted. Sienna. She lay sprawled across the dock, eyes open to the moonlight. Blood soaked her coat. I dropped to my knees. "No, no, no." My fingers trembled as I touched her face. Still warm. Still too real. Pinned to her coat was a white note card. No loose ends. Marcus's handwriting. Adrian looked down at me, silent. "Alara," I whispered. "Get her out of here. She's gone," Alara said quietly. "We can't get her out." My voice cracked, then broke. Adrian crouched beside me. "Who was she?" "My partner," I said. "My only link to the agency." His jaw tightened. "Then whoever sent those men isn't done." I looked at him, fury mixing with grief. "Marcus said this mission was clean. No civilian deaths." "Marcus lied," Adrian said flatly. I clenched my fists. "He used me to find you. To finish what he started." "And what did he start?" "The betrayal," I said. 20 years ago. My father's death, the explosion in Marseille, all of it leads back to Marcus." Adrian's eyes burned through me. "Then he wants us both dead." We buried Sienna by the shoreline, where the water met the reeds. No words, no prayers, just the sound of dirt hitting wood. Alara stood back, pale and shaking. "She didn't deserve this." "None of us do," I murmured. Adrian stayed silent until the grave was covered. Then he said, "You should leave. I'm not running. This isn't your fight anymore. It became mine the second Marcus sent me here." He studied me. "You sound like your father. Then maybe it's time someone finishes what he couldn't." We found a small cabin on the edge of the river, half collapsed, but dry enough to hide in. I cleaned Alara's wound while Adrian paced near the window, scanning the tree line. "They'll regroup," he said. "Mercs like that don't fail twice." "Then we hit first," I said. He turned. "You're not thinking straight. I just buried someone I trained with for 5 years. Trust me, I've never thought clearer." Alara looked between us. "You two sound like brothers trying to decide who gets to die first." Adrian smirked faintly. "He started it." "Finish it then," she said, sinking into a chair. "Because Marcus will." Her words hung in the air like smoke. Hours passed. Rain began to fall, light at first, then steady. Adrian sat across from me, loading his gun in silence. "You ever wonder," I asked, "what makes a man like Marcus turn?" He looked up. "Same thing that makes any man turn. Fear." "Fear of what?" "Being forgotten," he said. "Men like him erase the past so no one remembers their mistakes." "Then I'll remind him," I said. He smiled faintly. Spoken like a Drayton. I didn't respond. My father's name didn't feel like pride anymore. It felt like a curse. Sometime past midnight. I felt it, the shift in air, the faint click of metal. I turned. Adrian was standing across the room. Gun raised, eyes cold. "Adrian!" "Don't," he said. "Not another word." "Alara's asleep," I whispered. "Don't wake her." "Too late for that," he said. "You've been lying since the day you walked into my house." I took a step forward. "You think I'm still working for Marcus?" He didn't blink. "I think you're the reason they found me." "That's not true." "Then tell me," he said, voice low, shaking with rage and something like betrayal. "Who sent you, Caleb?" The barrel of Adrian's gun didn't waver. It stayed fixed on my chest, and for a moment the silence between us was louder than the rain. I said, he repeated, "Who sent you, Caleb?" I exhaled slowly, raising my hands. "Marcus Reed." He didn't blink. "You're lying." "I wish I was." Then why wait until now? Because I didn't know the truth until tonight. Start talking, he said coldly. And make it count. I met his stare. Marcus hired me to kill you. Said you betrayed the government, that you sold out the agency years ago. Adrian's eyes narrowed. And you believed him? I believed my commanding officer, I said. He gave me my father's medal when I was 10. Told me Nathan Drayton died a hero. Adrian froze. His gun lowered a fraction. Nathan Drayton? My father, I said quietly. You knew him. He finally lowered the weapon. The steel in his voice cracked. Then you deserve to know the truth. We sat in the cabin's dim light, the storm rattling the windows. Alara stirred by the fire, pretending not to listen. Adrian stared into the shadows. 20 years ago, your father and I were part of an off-the-books operation, Project Havelock. Classified, dirty, and doomed from the start. I said nothing. Marcus was our handler, Adrian continued. We were ordered to extract a biochemist from Marseille, a defector with information on a rogue weapons network. But Marcus had other plans. He sold you out, I said. He nodded slowly. He cut our comms, leaked our location. We walked straight into an ambush. Nathan took a bullet meant for me. The words hit harder than any gunfire. You're saying my father died saving you? Adrian looked at me, guilt etched deep in his eyes. He shouldn't have. I tried to pull him out, but the blast... He stopped, voice breaking. I saw him fall. I thought he was gone instantly. I clenched my fists. Marcus told me you were the one who betrayed him. That's what he wanted you to believe, Adrian said. You were insurance, his final cleanup. Alara spoke softly from the corner. Marcus used you to erase the last witness. I turned to her. And now he'll come for all of us. Adrian met my gaze. Then we stop him before he does. For the first time since I arrived, there was no hate in his eyes. Only something heavy, familiar. What's your plan? I asked. He leaned back, thinking. Marcus is hosting a private meeting in London, a security summit. It's cover for laundering funds from the Marseille deal. If we can expose that, we'll bury him. Alara, I said, you're staying out of this. She frowned. Don't start. I've come too far to play nurse now. You're wounded. I can still pull a trigger. Adrian smiled faintly. She's right. We'll need all the help we can get. I glared at both of them. You realize Marcus will expect me to finish the job. Then you'll give him what he expects, Adrian said. Walk in, close enough to aim, but not at me. I shook my head. That's suicide. So was trusting Marcus, he said. Hours slipped by as we mapped routes and escape points on a cracked table. Adrian's handwriting was steady despite the tremor in his fingers. How long have you been hiding? I asked. Since the day your father died, he said. Every year Marcus moved the pieces. Fake reports, falsified deaths, ghost trails. And you just let him? I tried to expose him once, he said, eyes distant. But when I found the evidence, he made sure no one believed me. So you disappeared. He nodded. I thought staying buried would keep his reach short. But then you showed up, and I realized Marcus was digging again. I looked down at the map. We take him down tomorrow night. Agreed. Alara stretched her arm, grimacing. And if it goes wrong? Adrian looked up. Then at least the right people will finally know. I stepped outside for air. The rain had slowed, turning the mud into mirrors. I saw my reflection. Tired, hollow, angry. Adrian joined me after a moment. You really think this will fix anything? I asked. No, he said quietly. But it might stop more from breaking. I looked at him. You could have told me years ago. He shook his head. You were a kid. Marcus had you under his wing. Anything I said would have sounded like treason. Maybe, he sighed. Nathan's last words were about you. I froze. What did he say? Adrian's voice softened. He said, tell my son to find the truth before it finds him. My throat tightened. And you never did. I didn't have the courage, he said. I turned away, blinking hard. Then let's make it count now. We went back inside. Alara was checking her weapon, jaw set. Adrian loaded his rifle, the click echoing through the small cabin. Tomorrow, he said. We finish this, I nodded. Together, he smiled, faint but real. Your father would have liked that. Before I could answer, the window exploded. Down. Alara screamed. Adrian stumbled backward, clutching his side. Blood bloomed across his shirt. Sniper? I shouted, dragging him behind the wall. Alara fired blindly into the dark, glass crunching under her boots. Adrian gasped, trying to speak. Stay still. I pressed my hand against the wound. His fingers gripped my wrist, weak but firm. His eyes locked on mine, pleading, urgent. Then he whispered, voice barely a breath, "Finish what he started," and the world went silent. Adrian was bleeding out fast. His hand trembled as he gripped mine, breath ragged. "Don't," I started, but he cut me off. "End this," he whispered. "For him. For yourself. Adrian, you're not—" "Promise me." I swallowed hard. "I promise." His eyes softened. "Then finish it." When his hand fell limp, something inside me broke. The drive to the coast was a blur. Wind roared through the broken windshield. Every mile brought back pieces of my father's face, his laugh, the metal Marcus pinned on me. All lies. The warehouse stood like a grave against the gray sky. The same place my father died. Poetic, Adrian had said once. I could almost hear him now. I kicked the door open. "Marcus!" His voice echoed back, calm, mocking. "You finally stopped running." He stepped from the shadows, gun in hand, suit immaculate. "You look just like Nathan did the day he pointed that pistol at me." I raised my weapon. "You killed him," he smirked. "He chose the wrong side. Loyalty has a price. And you sold everyone to pay yours," I said. He shrugged. "History remembers survivors, not martyrs. Then it won't remember you." He laughed. Still dramatic. "You think this is justice? It's vengeance. You're not your father." "I know," I said. "I'm worse." We circled each other, steps echoing like clock ticks. He fired first. The bullet grazed my shoulder, burning through fabric. I dropped low, rolled behind a crate, returned fire. Metal screamed, sparks flew. "Still fast," he shouted. "But you hesitate." "You always hesitate." "Not this time." I lunged forward, slammed him into the wall. The gun fell between us. We wrestled, hands, elbows, teeth. He was strong, desperate. I felt his breath against my ear as he growled. "Your father begged me to let him live. Liar." He said he'd tell the truth. I couldn't risk it. Rage blurred everything. I drove my fist into his jaw, again, until my knuckles split. He gasped, laughing through blood. "Go on, be the monster they made you." I grabbed the gun. "No, I'm ending one." He smiled even then. "Then do it. Prove you're not like him." "I'm not," I said. "He died for something real." "You'll die for nothing." The gunshot was loud, final. He dropped, eyes still open, disbelief frozen on his face. Silence. I stood there, breathing hard, smoke curling from the barrel. Marcus Reed, the man who destroyed my father, Adrian, and half a generation, was gone. For a moment, I waited for satisfaction to come. It didn't. Only emptiness. I walked outside, gun still warm in my hand. The sea stretched out black and endless. A weak cough made me turn. Adrian lay propped against a pillar, pale but alive. "You," he whispered. "It's done," I said, his lips curved faintly. "Marcus?" "Gone." He nodded slowly. "Nathan would have been proud." I crouched beside him. "He'd have wanted you to live." I did. Long enough to see the truth. He coughed again, blood staining his chin. "Alara?" "She's safe," I said. "She made it out." "Good," he murmured. "She deserves a life that isn't built on ghosts." He looked past me, eyes fading. "Now go, Caleb. Leave this place before it takes you too." "Adrian, go." When he stopped breathing, the wind filled the silence. By dawn, Alara arrived with a black SUV. Her arm was bandaged, her face streaked with tears and resolve. "He's gone?" she asked. "Yeah. And Marcus?" I nodded. "He won't hurt anyone again." She took a deep breath. "Then it's time to end the Vale Empire. No more weapons, no more lies. You sure?" She met my eyes. "If we don't, it never ends." I handed her the drive Adrian gave me. "Everything Marcus built. It's all in there." "Make it count." She smiled sadly. "What about you?" "I'm done. Where will you go?" "Anywhere that doesn't remember my name." As I walked away from the burning warehouse, the sea wind washed over me, cold and clean. My hands still smelled of smoke, metal, and regret. For years, I lived in other men's shadows, and my father's, Marcus's, Adrian's. But in that moment, I finally understood what freedom felt like. No revenge, no orders, just silence. I tossed the gun into the sea and watched it sink. I was sent to kill a monster. I whispered, "But I found a man, and in saving him I finally saved myself."